As we've already discussed and we have seen how to design the CTC. Now you have to understand that the components in the CTC, they are having different tax implication. Different components will get different treatment by the income tax calculation. Let us see how the options of CTC component are going to impact in the income tax calculation. Let's start with basic. The basic calculation is very simple, as we have already seen, which is between 30% to 50% of the CTC. Whatever amount that would decide for your CTC structure, it is completely taxable. Whatever amount it will be mentioned in the CTC structure as basic, it is fully taxable and will be added in your income tax amount. Then we are having another calculation format called DA. Dearness allowance is also fully taxable. There is no different calculation for this dearness allowance. It will be completely calculated as income. So it will make your income tax addition into the total amount. Conveyance allowances. We have seen during the CTC calculation that conveyance allowances is 19,200. Now let me tell you, this 19,200 is fully tax free. That means if you are getting 19,200 as conveyance allowance or transport allowance, the entire amount will be deducted for your income. So you can save some amount of income tax out of it. Your company may offer you a total conveyance allowance of 25,000, but still you will be able to save maximum up to 19,200 for your conveyance allowances. You cannot save more than that. So in the conveyance allowance sector, the maximum tax-free amount is 19,200. Then medical allowances. Medical allowance is completely taxable. Whether you are getting it or not, the amount that was mentioned as medical allowance, it will be completely taxable. Now how to make it better? How to save tax? You can probably change the term from medical allowance to medical reimbursement. The moment you have used the term medical reimbursement, up to 15,000 per year, it will be tax free. That means if you are supposed to, and if you want to save some tax of your employee, you can probably think to include medical reimbursement in the CTC instead of medical allowances, so that your employees can save 15,000 rupees from the income tax amount per year. Now how this 15,000 can be tax free? The employee has to submit the bill of medical expenses. Remember, if the employee does not submit the medical bills of 15,000, the amount will become taxable again. So to get a tax-free medical reimbursement, the employee must submit the bills of 15,000 every year. Let us take some example. Suppose the medical reimbursement as per the CTC structure is 15,000, but the employee has submitted the bills of only 10,000. So how much will be the amount that will become tax free? 10,000 only. The balance 5,000 will become taxable. If I consider the example in other way, suppose the medical reimbursement amount is 25,000 and the employee has submitted the bills of 25,000, then also the maximum tax-free limit will remain 15,000. It will not be 25,000. That means maximum up to 15,000 medical reimbursement can be saved from the taxable income by the employee if they submit the bill. The next component we are going to discuss about HRA, house rent allowance. I want you to concentrate on this particular calculation as it is having a little more complicated formula to decide how much amount will be tax free. So whenever we are calculating the HRA, let me remind you, as we have told in the CTC design video, that the HRA amount will be either 40% or 50% of the basic, depending on which location you are working at. If you are working at non-metro location, then your HRA will be 40% of your basic. If you are at metro location, then your HRA will be 50% of your basic. We are going to take an example of a basic of 3 lakhs and the worker is working at a metro location. That means the HRA will be 50% of 3 lakhs, that is 1,50,000. So let us see how much tax this particular employee can save on his HRA if he is living in a rented house. Let us take the example. In the first example, we will consider basic as 3 lakhs and the HRA is 1 lakh. And the employee is living in a rented house of 12,000 per month. So he is paying a rent of 12,000 per month, that is 1,44,000 per year. So if we want to calculate how much HRA he can save, we have to consider 3 different amount. That is, number 1, actual HRA received by the employee, which is 1 lakh in this particular case. Point number 2, as he is staying in a metro location, the 50% of basic salary, which is 1,50,000 in this particular case. And point number 3, the actual rent paid minus 10% of basic. That means the actual rent is 1,44,000 minus 10% of basic, that is 30,000, equal to 1,14,000. So as we have found 3 different calculations and 3 different amount, how much will be the tax-free amount for this employee? Whichever is the lowest amount. That means he can save 1 lakh of rupees from the tax in this particular example, as the point number 1, actual HRA received of 1 lakh rupees is the lowest out of all 3 calculations. Let us take another example. In the second example, we will again consider the basic as 3 lakhs. We will consider HRA as 1 lakh and we will consider the rent is 10,000 per month, that means 1,20,000 in a year. So again we have to take 3 different calculations. First, HRA received, which is 1 lakh. Point number 2, 50% of the basic salary. Why 50%? Because he is located at metro location. In this example, the amount is 1,50,000, which is 50% of the basic. And point number 3, rent paid minus 10% of basic. That means the total rent is 1,20,000 minus 10% of basic, that is 30,000, equal to 90,000. So out of these 3 calculations, we can see 90,000 is the lowest amount. That means this employee can save maximum of 90,000 from the HRA as tax exempted amount.